Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is 7 o'clock Mountain Time for the best time zone ever. It's Tuesday night, and that means that we're doing a That's Cool Drink episode, and tonight's going to be awesome. We got John Sears on, and we were just talking a little bit behind the scenes, and man. So when I was thinking about this show earlier, I was like, man, if you were writing like a history book, like 20 or 30 years in the future, a book about drag racing, this is a guy whose name would be in that book. He's got his fingers, his dirty little fingerprints all over a ton of small tire stuff, pro mod stuff. He's fresh off of, he's doing the actual, he is the event coordinator, race something for the trifecta, the winter series. So he just got done with Snowbird Outlaw Nationals. He has the U.S. Street Nationals coming up. And, of course, the World Series of Pro Mod to race director. That's what he is. He's the race director. So, yes, that trilogy of folks coming up. Oh, he's private chatting me. Competition director. That's what it is. So, so he's got a lot of stuff going on with that coming up here very, very soon. And we're going to talk about that. Of course, we can't go without talking about X275 with Mr. Sears. And if you guys don't know him, this dude's the dude. He's a gangster. He's definitely onto it. Man, Dino, thank you so much. I got your gifts a while ago. I had a hot rod soup this evening, but I don't want to open new ones. So I have the gigantic bottle of Jack Daniels and Dr. Thunder this evening. So I'll be mixing drinks as we go along. Mr. Sears has got himself a little keep him amped up drink tonight because he's at 9 o'clock over there on the East Coast. Yes, go get you a Coors, Mr. Hohenberg. Saw so many cool people up at PRI. We'll talk about that. John was also at that as well. So much coming up. I am leaving on Thursday because I can't get there in time by Friday for the Christmas Tree Drag Championship. Everyone needs to race with a lit Christmas tree on the car, on top of the car, in the car. Can't come off the car. That's at Bradenton. You can only see it at Bradenton or on Freedom Plus, and that's going to be an absolutely amazing time. Doug Floyd will be cruising around with me. We will be zipping around on the golf cart. And if we, like I told you earlier on a Facebook post, if we come skirt into your pit, we are about to put you on that live stream and up on the Jumbotron. So, man, sexy bearded people. Rich Guido was also at PRI. He grew a beard, and I said, dude, makes you look old. I'm really sorry to tell you that. And he was like, all my friends have been lying to me. So they told me I look good. And I was like, you look old as hell. So, yeah, man, absolutely good. Man, we got the Drag Drive repeat guys on, finishing their margaritas. Everyone's kind of getting cranked up because this is going to be an absolutely amazing show with John Sears. That said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get it kicked off. Here we go with Mr. X275 and the guy that probably kicked your ass out of some racetrack at some point for some tech violation you had, Mr. John Sears. The Canadians are fighting with each other in the chats. Rovik says that he is old, and Rich Guido says, enough out of you, Rovik. We're going to start a little international competition going on here. It's going to be an absolutely awesome time. But dude, John.
Well, that's cool.
That is cool. Thanks for joining us on the show, dude. I know this is kind of a long time in the making. We've been sort of playing tag a little bit, and then you had a hurricane roll through, and I was like, let's just let the dust settle a little bit, and I'm really happy we got to make this happen.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad you had me on. We're probably both still suffering a little PRI fog,
Yeah.
just from the interactions with as many people as we met and saw and spoke to there, and saw them in passing. Even gave them a quick shout, wanted to circle back, and people always seem to be extremely busy there. So it's oftentimes after a PRI that you can actually contact people and talk with them. So I'm glad we were able to do this after PRI because it was a good time for us.
Totally. What a hell of a good show. That's my first PRI. I've never been to a PRI before. I had done Seaman before. Did I say Seaman? SEMA before.
Yeah, you said Seaman.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Not cool. Don't drink. I've done SEMA before. My lips stuck together. It was wild. But PRI was absolutely off the chain, man. That was an amazing show. How did you make out? Did you have a good PRI?
I did. We wound up getting a chance to talk and see so many different people that we work closely with and that we partner with and that are sponsors of ours. And if you just look at just the sheer amount of people with like minds and passions and the drive that they have to make the performance such a good environment to be in, I always seem to kind of lose my way and lose my focus a little bit. And there's so much that I want to do there. But just making time for everything and everyone is always tough, especially when you're trying to follow up with, things that you've contacted people about prior to the, PRI show, and hopefully, things work out, afterwards. But then, we wind up with Christmas and New Year's, and then we're into the new year and everything else like that. And this is all right before Thanksgiving and snowbirds and all that business. So it's a hard time to get a lot of things done, but we were able to put together our limited street some big checks. We handed out this just incredibly hand painted Simpson helmet that was just hands down one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The first time I saw it, I was blown away with Jason from Art Studios. This guy actually painted hockey masks for people in the NHL and stuff.
Okay, cool.
And has branched out into helmets for the motorsports industry. So great guy.
And if you guys don't know, like hockey people that wear hockey masks, like they're decked out. Like everyone, all those goalies have their stuff pimped out, and it's cool to get a little bit of that splash into our world because everyone has black glossy helmets. So when you kind of break that up a little bit and you get some cool stuff, it's fun.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist, and my buddy Lee Locklear from SP Tools USA is the one that kind of brought that whole thing together along with Bill Wood. And I got to say, man, as far as sponsors go, these guys are just top of the line, always supporting things that we do, always bringing new things to the table. There's going to be a cool video drop tomorrow that Bill edited and put together from PRI and our whole awards presentation and everything else like that. So we'll be able to get a big thank you out to all our sponsors through that video and some recognition for our racers that run the RTRA series. It's going to be on SP Tools USA Facebook site. I will also be sharing the link and getting it out there for everybody to take a look.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. That's so awesome. What the hell? So let's kind of go like, I don't know. Let's go back. Like, let's start where we are now and move backward. What the hell is RTRA? What are you doing with RTRA?
So the gist of RTRA is the Radial Tire Racing Association, and we form rules for 3 different radial tire classes: X275, Ultra Street, and Limited Street. And it was initially started by a group of guys in Texas that were really hot and heavy into the radial tire scene. But as a lot of people text, stuff doesn't last long there. Like, it comes and goes, like in waves.
Mm-hmm.
Coast, things seem to have a last influence and time frame out on the East Coast, whereas Texas, those guys they'll flip the script in a minute and they'll go off in a different direction. So the name kind of languished for a little bit, and I called those guys up and I'm like, hey, what are you doing with the name? And they were like, man, it's all yours. We would love for you to take it and to do something with it. So when I retired from the Park Service, up with the American theme, and just started working these events and wound up working for the PDRA for a couple of years, doing stuff over there with them. Came at a really good time as I retired and I was looking for something to do. They stepped in and gave me an opportunity. Yep, there we go. And it was a wonderful opportunity and opened a lot of doors for me in the pro mod world, particularly with what we're doing with the Winter Series with Drag Illustrated and Wes Buck and Vic and Mike Carpenter and JT and all those guys over there.
And this is kind of you're sort of in my world right now as well. I'm pouring a new drink. You're working your side job as your main job now all of a sudden. Sort of. Yeah. I mean, you retired from the Park Service. You're a veteran yourself. Right. Air Force man, I believe, right?
Yes, I've done active duty Air Force, Air Guard, Air Reserve, and actually my first 4 years of active duty was shooting A6 intruders off carriers in the Navy.
Nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Is that a boatswain's mate?
Machinist mate.
Right. Okay. Got it. Yeah, dude. So, what's that?
A jet mech. So jet engine mechanic. Yep.
Hell yeah. Well, so thank you for your service first, and then
thank you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you go to the park service. So you're one of those guys. You're a smart guy. You go through and then you stack stuff on top of stuff. Because you go into it from a government job to a government job, and then do your time with them, and then you drag race.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing. It was I got involved with drag racing kind of early on, doing some street racing as a kid, like a knucklehead, and in the military when you're a young guy and you're starting a family and stuff like that, you don't have the money to do that. But as things progressed and I moved to Tile, was able to buy a 69 Chevelle and took it from a straight 6 car to, something that would run, low tens, on a little bit of bottle with a nice little iron head motor, but street raced it and, ran it in Orlando back in the day and all that other stuff there. So
what sort of time, what year are we talking here?
So this would be, I was in Texas between 88 and like 91.
Okay. So, dude, a 10-second car.
Yeah.
In that time frame, that's like an 850 car now. Like you're kind of a gangster.
Well, I don't know about a gangster, but it was quick for what it was. I had some really good help. Some dudes in the sprint car shop that I helped out in sometimes. Were able to steer me in the right direction and help out quite a bit. And those guys always have spare stuff sitting in the corner. So. Right. Scrape a little money together and, ask him to dust one of those pieces off that came out of a and drop it between and put a little.
Oh, dang. Sorry. We
good, man. Back then, we had a little glitch.
We're all
good.
Up, but
so back then,
I guess I can see why you're a tech dude now, because no one cheats up shit like sprint car dudes. Like especially circle track. I mean, those dudes can cheat some shit up because they have like claimer motors.
They do.
Claimer motors. They are good at hiding bullshit.
Well, that's the motor that I wound up with, was one of those cheater motors when, it was a 317-inch, deal, and I wound up and it was 357 inches. So it was 40 over.
Right.
But they would take a chance and go out there with it and, hope they didn't lap the field with it and, finish in the money, top 3. and only top 2 were Hope John has enough quarters to get his Wi-Fi to stay running. That's pretty good, Jimmy Harris. I got to laugh about that. But guess what, buddy? We got Wi-Fi at the house now. We're not on a hot box anymore. Little hotspot.
Oh man! Big shout out to
That's
Kenneth Woody.
good
Man, Woody helps out at the Mod Nationals, and he came and joined us on Rocky Mountain Race Week, and he's an old paratrooper buddy of mine as well. So yeah,
Awesome.
if you fell out of airplanes on purpose, you can jumpers hit it, and you guys can take a quick drink because that's what we do because we're idiots. They told me in jump school there's two things that fall out of the sky, and it's bird shit and fools. I am the latter. Oh, dang. There we go. I think we're caught up again. You made a quick move to the left, and then
we are
good. We're set. Man, you're involved early time through your buddies. 69 Chevelle too. That's what a cool ass car to kind of start your journey in this.
Yeah, that was my third hot rod, so to speak. I had a '68 Biscayne gunmetal gray 4-door car. After that, I got a '74 hatchback Nova. When you're in high school, and you got to have a place. That hatchback was pretty cool because the seat laid down and all that. So go out and hang out at the lake and drink beers and hang out with your buddies and do donuts in the rocks and dumb shit like that.
Yeah, and it's still a Nova, so it's it's still kind of cool.
Yeah, it's still kind of cool. But nothing like this Chevelle. The Chevelle was a pretty cool deal. Teacher owned it that taught it, like the local junior college or whatever, and couldn't get it running. And I went up there with a battery and a starter after paying him $600 for it, and drove it out of there. He was not pleased.
You were the original Vice Grip Garage.
I was that guy for a long freaking time. I bought another wrecked Malibu and wound up taking the whole drivetrain and a lot of stuff out of that to put in my car.
That's what you did back in the day, though.
That's what we do. Yeah. Right. It was affordable. And it was, I don't know how to say it, but just on, and the aftermarket was not there. Right. The parts and pieces were not there. You'd have to find something off an old car in a junkyard in order to get your stuff to work properly.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the jam back in the day. You would get the double hump, like 168 heads because they were the gangster heads, but they didn't have any accessory holes. So you're at the junkyard trying to figure out alternator brackets. I've lived that life a little bit myself. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's how you hot rod stuff. I mean, that's especially when you're young and poor and whatever.
Yeah, that was one of the things. The big purchase back in the day was billet Mallory distributor, and a good for the thing, so you could actually light the avgas off and make the L60 McCreary smoke down the road.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got you had the Unilight. And so you're like, man, I don't have points anymore. Like, this is great. Like, I'm moving up in the world with this new.
It's a big step up.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So what got you, here we go with the, when we get to the drinking game, what the hell got you into small tire racing? When did you decide, like, I need to be the guy that needs to come up with a rule set for legit small tire stuff? Because, the era that X275 came out, when did you kind of come through with that? What time frame were you when you were like, it's time? Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself somehow. Can I unmute you? Your mic isn't connected.
There we go.
There we go.
How's
Someone
that?
needs to get him some more quarters over there. There has to be a racer that can put something to feed John's Wi-Fi.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. So start back.
Hey, not all. Okay, so basically, street racing back in the day, you don't have enough money to, put a decent sized tire on a car, and the only thing out there is a 275 60, or back then it was an L60 tire. And hanging out with all the dirt track guys, one of the things was the McCreary tires. So a couple of the like stocker classes or whatever, I would grab those old dirt tires and throw them on the Chevelle and give them a shot. And they worked out in the street, basically that's how I got hooked. I was always laughing at guys that had bigger tires on there, and I'm leaving them sitting still, in the street. And I'm like, you don't need all that tire. The less tire you can run, the less rotational mass you have, and the better and more efficient. And if you're underpowered to begin with,
you can
an on-headed car.
Yeah.
3,200 pounds should up is the ability to make something work, which
oh no, we're locked up for a moment. Hold on. There we go. We're back. I got the quick.
You buffered again?
Yep, we're back.
Yeah, we're
did.
Back. There we go.
Good.
We're back. Jimmy, let Jimmy know we got some more quarters. We're all right.
Yep. Nope, we're fine.
But
yeah,
one of the biggest things is small time.
Sorry.
How about now?
Go ahead. Yep, we're good. We're caught up.
We're good? All right. So basically the big thing was small tires and making them work in the street and everything else like that with people that knew how to make stuff work. And I always tried different things. And, after working with the Chevelle for a while, I got into turbo Buicks and ran in the 90s. Kept up with all the faster streetcar stuff. I was there, probably 94, 95, 96 time frame in Memphis, as a spectator. Raced, Orlando Speed World for a couple of years. That's where I met Al Tucci.
Yeah, there he is.
That's my guy. Yep.
There he is there. I, of course, got the opportunity to announce with that cat at the Havlicks FSC reunion, which was an absolutely off the chain race, absolutely off the chain. And
it was insane.
That was a good time. And that's, I think, where that photo was taken.
Absolutely. I looked at that car and I looked at those guys, and I was like, man, I've always loved this car. The whole Cars Inc. deal with the houndstooth interior and those things that match the car, and just the cool factor of all that stuff. And they're like, you want to sit in it? And I was like a freaking little kid again.
Right. I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing.
I didn't care how tight it was in there. I got it. Close the door. I'm good.
No, yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. And I'm gonna pour a freshie right now because Rick Dyer, the builder / driver / original owner of that exact car, recently passed. So we're gonna one for our homies. Man, Rick Dyer, thank you for the memories. Thank you for building that car. Thank you for being a part of that initial Fashion Street Car movement. Because, man, without that, who knows where we would be right now. That was a super cool deal. Thanks to Jeff Smith from Hot Rod, David Freiberger, all the folks, Al Tucci, for helping put together that deal to heads up race dudes that thought they had the baddest street car in the world. And they did it for a few years, and it was an awesome deal. And the Havlicks are bringing it back, and they got a ton of cars dusted off. They got the Rieger car at PRI. That was like the OG twin turbo car. That was when twin turbos weren't cool. Everyone was running blowers, and no one turbos were for diesels back then. And
they had a 2-hour motor in it. Actually helped that guy unload it.
Yeah, right.
That was just badass. Just seeing some just the actual history of it. And if you were there to read the magazines and everything else like that, you coming back as a, like me, an old guy, if you will,
Right.
getting to see that stuff again, it was just awesome. Just
Totally.
awesome.
And I'm like, I'm not, I'm a middle old guy. I remember that stuff pretty vividly, but I was in my teenage years, but it was at that time, like, dude, hot rods were my porno. And that was my jam. Like all that that Master Streetcar junk. I just loved it. I love the idea of making dudes that thought their shit was gangster racing against other dudes that thought their shit was gangster. That was pre-internet, pre any of that. This is all, coordinated via snail mail and phone calls. And imagine being one of those guys who think you got a bad car and some dude from Hot Rod Magazine calls you and says, dude, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a heads up race with you and everyone that thinks that their car's better than yours. How cool is that? Like, okay, let's get them all together.
It's the best. Just to be invited to something like that,
Totally. And now, like, to bring it full circle, dude, you're the competition director for the new school version of that in a bunch of different stuff with the Winter Series stuff, with the RTRA that you got going on with X275. Like that, when I said in the beginning, like, if you write the history books of drag racing, dude, you're going to have your dirty last little fingerprints all over it. Cause you've done some cool stuff and like, that's gotta feel really good. And I know that you're a humble dude and you're like, oh, I didn't, but I mean, all the tens and tens of people watching this thing right now will know, and the, whatever, the 300 that will see that'll see it. They realize that, dude, like you're that guy. And I think that's super duper cool.
No, I appreciate that. I feel very blessed to have been in a position to be offered these opportunities. When you think about stuff, I'm working hard to promote his events and things like that, which help the growth and recognition. And that's where all the guys were out doing the Hot Rod Drag Week stuff, and the pump gas drags and all that stuff. And it was always in my periphery where I was watching that stuff. And I was like, man, all that stuff is going on. And I would love to actually have been, part of the early days of that. But I was, kind of cutting my own path with X275 and Ultra. And it's all stemmed from things that we had been doing down in Florida and Immokalee Dragway, with our stock suspension shootouts and our Fast Friday shootouts and stuff like that. 650 Real Street and, all these things that have grown into, X275 Ultra and then our limited class, which is just, to me, it's probably, like Rowdy Radial, right? It's probably one of the best entry-level heads-up small tire deals going. And all the mistakes I made, and I made a ton of them with X Ultra, I've really tried to correct a lot of that and made a lot of hard choices and hard decisions, to keep that class affordable and to keep it out of certain areas. And the racers, no matter what I do, they continue to go faster and faster and faster. And that's one of the fun things about this is sort of that back and forth between me and the racers. Sometimes it gets pretty shitty, people get personal and whatnot, but I that's them. That's how they're going to react. And then, okay, it's a free country. They're allowed to react. And when it doesn't get personal, dude, I'm usually pretty good about it. When it gets personal, then it's just deuces. I'm out. I'm not dealing with you anymore, and you'll never get another word or any help from me again.
And there's a lot of places to race that you don't have to deal with whatever rule we just came up with. And it sucks to lose a guy, but at the same time, there's 3 guys ready to take that guy's place. Cause if you're going to be a whiny asshole, somebody else has a car built ready for it. It is what it is. I hate to say that it is, but if you get to where you're making personal attacks on a guy over race car rules, come on, man, get a grip. But
yeah. Go to the beach.
That's gotta be a tough thing. Cause I mean, and I'm running into that a little bit. I mean, with a small, like, Facebook group, and it's not like an entire race series, but you're friends with these people. Like, you want to see the best for all of these people, and it becomes your family. And so you take it personally because it's personal.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things that we face. I'd love to go hang out and drink beer and have a steak and do all that stuff. Meanwhile, people are taking pictures of that and then they're turning into memes on the internet and all that other stuff, trying to be funny. But it's always some sort of backhanded way, right? Oh, I was just kidding. It's a backhanded bullshit way of going about doing it. And that's okay. That's fine. Do what you feel you need to do. In the end, like I say, just keep moving forward. And that's what I do. I just keep moving forward. And like I said, I've been extremely blessed to work with some really great people, meet some wonderful people, see some amazing things on the racetrack and off the racetrack. I mean, look at snowbirds. I mean, 64, 65 pro mods trying for 32 spots. And we put 32 cars out there. All the power adders were represented within 0.056 of one another. And we got a guy turning freaking headlights on in an MPK car, which, again, that was another deal that, nobody thought, held any merit. And there's no way any of those MPK guys are going to be able to come over there and compete. So sometimes stories write themselves.
Posted it best. Like, this dude was warning us for like 3 weeks. He made a post like, I can't wait to show what these cars run when the scoreboards are on. And dude, that guy showed up with 100.
Not the tracks versus what Rich gave him.
What's that?
I said, think about, they run on a no prep surface, and the numbers they run are what they run, right? Like, I won't talk about what they run because I'm not really privy to any of that information, even though we do tech over there, the RTRA. It's just kind of funny, right? The Radial Tire Racing Association is doing tech at a no prep case event.
Well, I mean, but that's just the pedigree. It's not necessarily the name.
It is. So, but again, blessed just to be able to be a part of these events. World Series of Pro Mod, for 23 and 24, and now the Winter Series. That we're going to be going into our next race here at U.S. Street Nationals, which is also the second race of the Radial Outlaws Racing Series, which includes, RVW, Pro 275, LDR, X275, and Ultra Street and Limited Street will be there competing for RTRA points as well. And it's a big one coming up in January. And if you missed it, you need to be there at the next one.
I gotta know, because you mentioned earlier about Rowdy Radial as a rules guy. As a tech / rules guy, Rowdy Radial has like 3 rules. Does that drive you nuts, or do you like that?
It depends on what position I'm in. Week and stuff that is done for us on the safety side, unless there's something that I find, when people are coming up to race, like they don't have their gloves on or their visors up or they're not wearing their Hans device or something like, dude, I don't give a shit. Go out there and freaking have a lot of fun and go fast and be safe. The limited rules make it fun. And the other side of it, the people that go to drag and drive events understand it's them against the road and the racetrack. Right. It's not the racers competing against one another. Do they want to be top in their class? Absolutely. There's some hardcore competitive racing mindsets when they go out there and do these things. I mean, just watch 850 and that'll tell you, how hard these guys
at the end of 5 days is like the top 10 is a 10th.
Right.
850 to 859, and you're talking, and sometimes even closer than that, and you're talking about 4 different tracks, 5 different days, 5 different weather events, 5, and then on top of that, you add that you have 600 to 1,000 or plus miles on these cars when they roll back in. It's absolutely insane.
Right. So it's a testament to what they're capable of doing. But again, the mindset is quite a bit different. And I'm sure that if they were doing this on a regular basis as part of a regular racing series, we'd see that competitive spirit or passion come out in them as far as concerned. But the drag, to me, it's sort of a refreshing opportunity to get back to the roots of what we do and why we do it.
Hell yeah. Talk to me about the people that help you through RTRA and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Folks that help you out employee wise and sponsor wise and et cetera. Like here's a chance to kind of plug your people that help make you successful.
So I can't do it. I have a wonderful person that works with me, Jennifer Briggs. She handles, all the administrative stuff when we're not at the racetrack. And then she's capable as a tech as well of managing multiple MPK races this year. Also work multiple other events, radial events, drag and drive events, pro mount events and stuff with me. And to me, she learned the right way. She was brought along and taught by myself and Vinny Ludicina at PDRA, who's now the tech director over there, and a bunch of other people. Rick Dodge has been a huge influence.
There they are right there.
Go! I'm wearing that same shirt, Racers Club, baby.
Hell yeah. Vinny's a buddy of mine. I met Vinny at the 352 shootout, and we've kind of stayed close since. Big fan of Vinny and of course Rick. If you guys haven't met Rick, he can stick the NHRA sticker on your chassis and whatnot. And you guys are peas in a pod at a lot of events as well.
Yeah, we are. We work closely together. It's pretty good to have so many good qualified people. I get a chance to work with a gentleman by the name of Jim Bailey. That guy drove top fuel cars for Doug Herbert back in the day.
Yeah, Jim's a gangster. I worked with Jim at the Mont Nationals.
Right. You worked with him, and I think you worked with my son as well there, Matthew.
Matthew
he was
awesome.
doing
he was doing armbands and making sure he got the signatures done so no one got sued. And I just stuck stickers on cars. It's all good. So
nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
We get to work with the NHRA National Tech Director Lonnie Grimm quite often at multiple events, and being tied in with that many good qualified folks, really helps. We've got some other folks that come up, help out occasion. Jesse out of Texas. I've got Eddie Maloney, who's done some chassis work for us. Also worked Sick Week. Rich Schreck is our go-to chassis cert guy when we're in Bradenton. You may have met him when you were there.
I met him as well. Yep.
So again, there's a lot of experience there, and me, I get a chance to sometimes just kind of sit back and listen to conversations between the techs. When I'm at World Cup, there's 4 domestic, 4 import, a fuel guy, and then a head tech. So I get to see stuff from the import side. I get to see worked a lot with the NMCA and NMRA for years. He's going to wind up taking Howie's place doing fuel at World Cup. I was also able to enlist Mike's help at multiple MPK venues. And we were able to institute a lot of different things over to MPK that you've done before. And I think the racers and of course the were really appreciative of what we brought to the table as a group. So I think what we do is unique. And I think what we do is show that, we're varied in our skill sets. and we're able to assimilate, into your track staff if need be. And we're able to be flexible enough to not only do tech, but other things, within racetrack operations.
Yeah, and
So
you guys
wonderful
are
group of
kinda,
people.
I kind of liken you guys to me a little bit. You love drag racing, and you like to watch cars go down the racetrack. So whatever that entails, like, let's do that, and let's make that happen. Like,
Right.
if you need me to drive a tractor, let's drive a tractor. If you need me to help put stickers on cars at Tech, let's put stickers on cars at Tech. If you need me to run the lanes, let's run the lanes. It's the passion, it's the love of the sport, it's the moving of the sport, however that looks like. It's a big deal, and there's a lot of people that are very stay in your lane. This is what I do because that's what I get paid to do. But there's so many jobs that need to get done, and I see RTRA shirts all over the place all the time, and you guys put your money where your mouth is. It's a very refreshing thing.
Yeah, we really try, and that's, you look at how many people come to these events, and it's a familiar face when you go to Tech. Richard Guido just posted up Belly. There were so many people there because that's a no prep event, hardcore, old school, rough racing surface. Those guys prep on Thursday, and then they just let it done there to the track surface, other than the occasional mop or broom.
Right.
And to be able to go out there and have so many people recognize me when I was out there working was just pretty incredible. And then I don't know if you know or not, but Bill Hoskinson from Old Man Garage,
Yep,
and those guys enlisted me to help out with their plates in 28 steel. And I kept telling Bill, I'm like, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. And he's like, we'll see. Well, I wound up just by happenstance to call up my friend Ben Dinkle. And I'm like, hey, Ben, I said, how'd you like to go to Ohio? There's a good opportunity that you're going to be working here with me and with Bill and everything else like that. And we wound up teching cars forever and a day. And Ben was, there to hang out and, have a couple of beers. And he wound up running the back of the staging lanes and keeping that stuff organized, staff. And, Bill was so busy with things, he just kind of handed off the race director job and duties to me. And, we made it happen, and we tried to run it as efficiently as we could, within the given circumstances. And I think for a first time event, I think it was a huge success. So again, blessed to be in those positions and be given those opportunities.
absolutely. Some of the stuff that people don't see when you rely on you're relying on race track operators, race track owners, promoters, tons of people. Dude, this is a rough life. I'm living it right now, but I've only been doing it for now less than a year. You've been doing it for quite a bit longer, and your fingerprints are a little bit deeper. But like, for the regular dude, what's it like living, dude? I mean, like, week to week to week to week to week, and literally on the road away from your family. Like, it's a different thing.
It is.
Give us insight with that. And like, shoot, you can get booked on something 2 weeks before it happens or a week before it happens, and you may not even know that you're doing that until, you might have a Thursday flight and it's Tuesday. Like, there's some wild stuff. Talk about that a little bit.
Right. So I think one of the biggest is your own personal hot rod projects, your race car, going to the machine shop and dropping stuff off or picking stuff up or finishing things in your own shop, often wind up being neglected in lieu of, working these events. And it's often last minute. Try to project out as many months in advance, but oftentimes, you've got weather that comes into play, or you've got staff that's unable to make it. So now you have to shift people and move people around. Or you've got somebody that wants you to come and you tell them, yes, we're in. And then multiple weeks later, when you circle back to them, hey, how many people do you need? What day do you? Well, I decided to go a different direction. And here you've out that week and you hope to fill it because you're looking at that as a means of income or means of income for your staff. And when that gets dropped, that's not an easy thing to make up. So we try to get things done ahead of time as much as possible, but I've driven 12 hours to events and not know where my hotel is.
Right.
Struggle to get in touch with somebody. Try to find out, hey, what time do you want to start tomorrow? I see that your gates, don't open until 9, but you've got tech opening at 7. Why is there a 2-hour block in there that we're all going to be standing there looking at one another if you haven't even gotten the gates open yet?
Right.
So those are some of the things that we face, right? And that can be quite frustrating at times. But after doing this for a while, it is expected, right, for it to be that way. And when it's that way, we get confirmation numbers for hotel rooms, 2 weeks in advance. When you get a flight confirmation number, when you're paid in a timely manner, all those things don't necessarily happen all the time. Sometimes you got to go, months and months without being paid. And you've put flights on your credit card and rental cars on your credit card and hotel rooms on your, and on top of that, I've got people that need to be paid. They shouldn't wait.
100%.
Wait doesn't mean they're going to be happy about waiting. So I need to make sure that I've got enough that I can cover their costs because they have flights, they have rentals, they have hotel rooms. All those things need to be covered and everything else like that. So, man, it's a dream job, man. I can't believe you get to, live the life we do. Well, you're a bit of a gypsy. You're living out of a suitcase, and sometimes you can be home for 3 days in a 6 to 8.
Yeah, man, and it's
and I'm going to drink to that one.
No, let's do. Absolutely. It's a lot of people don't understand, and that's why I think it makes sense to talk about it a little bit, because the life of a traveling race car person it's a tough life. It's absolutely you're 100% on the hook of somebody else's success. If they don't do well, then you're going to be fighting for your stuff, and it's not your fault that their stuff didn't do well. You're stuck on their world, and it's man, it's a tough world out here, and we are working our balls off for it. I promise you.
It is.
And tits off if we don't have balls. That's for Jenny. But man, it is tough. It is absolutely tough. And if you guys don't think that we're working our asses off out there, you are sorely mistaken. It is a whole different world, and you just got to know that when you come through tech or you come storming into the tower, that we're away from our families. We're also working a job that we are, we take passion in. We want to do right. We want to make sure everything is going well. And at the same time, the only goal for us is to race cars. 100% the only goal for us is to race cars. That's it.
Safely.
That's it.
Safely. That's it. And that's one of the things is keeping my racers safe and going home in one piece at the end of the weekend. I want them to get back to their families. I want them to get back to their jobs. I want them to live to race another day. And when we ask you to put your visor down, wear your Hans, have valid seat belts, all that we ask you to do. Some of that if they don't know and they got to go get something, they go buy it. So we got Summit Racing equipment on site at a lot of these. So shout out to Tommy Dupree and those guys at Summit who, support the RTRA and just such a huge partner of ours. Again, those guys being site and that allows the racer to move on and continue racing.
Yeah. And there was the track manager for me at Twin City Raceway. I believe it was Louisiana.
This guy needs you need some 5 there.
Hold on, we're buffering. We're gonna catch.
There we go. I got you.
We're caught up. Okay. Yeah, the track owner at Twin City Raceway on Race Week in Louisiana was giving away free diapers. Free diapers. If you think your car is maybe going to have a problem, I have a diaper for you. Please put it on your car. I will give it to you for 100% free. What I don't want to do is A, clean up your bullshit, and B, scrape you off the racetrack with a snow shovel. That's not the goal. Right. We'll figure it out. And again, Tom Dupree helped out with stuff like that. There's tons and tons and tons of folks that are either close to racetracks or at racetracks that will do what you can. And dude, to be 100% honest, as a tech dude, as anybody that's been around any of this, John will tell you 100% straight to your face, we don't agree with 2-year seatbelt rules either. If you haven't crashed in your seatbelt shouldn't go bad. But the rule is the rule is the rule. We have to abide by the rules anyway. We'll tell you, dude, that sucks. I know that belt's fine. You and I will both, we could both ride in that car and feel 100% comfortable. But the rule is the rule is the rule. You've got to go get new belts. It's a cheap price to pay for you to walk out of that racetrack at some point. And that's, again, it's an important deal. It's a deal you guys should pay attention to, and just, again, know that every single person at that racetrack wants you to be able to race, to compete, to have fun, but do it in the correct way. Right.
I've said it before. I've said it again. Our guys and gals in Drag and Drive have been really phenomenal. Dean Fluhart, one of my limited guys, just popped up and he says, "Hey, I got new belts." When we were at Snowbirds was belts. I said, "Hey, get some new belts. Christmas is coming, this, that, and the other thing." Well, he sent me a message the other day. He actually bought them at PRI when he was there receiving his award for where he finished at Limited Street. So hats off to you, Dean, and see that they're purple and they even match your car. So that's even cooler.
Done and done. Unsolicited, plug. I had RGS belts. My last set of belts were RGS Platinum belts. They will recertify those belts for you once for free. So if you pay, it's the same money for a set of belts. If you want to pop them out of your car and send them back to RJS, they will recert those belts for you for $0. That's a pretty good gig. It's got to be the platinum.
Absolutely.
But you don't have to rebuy belts if you want to utilize that service. It comes with a certificate in the box. That's an easy deal. What for a guy, let's say a guy's building a turbo OLS thing in his garage and it's going to run 950, which is a pretty standard whatever. What's something that cat normally forgets that you'll catch in tech that you need to fix XYZ right now?
A diaper.
Okay.
If it's a stock block LS, he needs a diaper.
I get it. No, I get it. And dude, honestly, there's a million people that make a diaper for a ton of stuff. I just saw, I don't know who the hell, I need to look it up. Somebody just came up with a G-body bolt-in stock oil pan, belly pan, and it bolts to the back of the control arms and the front of the crossbar on the G body. And they showed it with an LS motor in it, but it'll fit whatever. That, you know, full frame cars are a little bit of a pain in the ass to get a belly pan on, and these cats built it. It's a bolt-in. It's a couple $100, and you don't need a diaper with a belly pan. It covers the entire engine, including the flex plate torque converter area, and I want to say it was like $350. Dude,
that's
let's go.
Extremely affordable.
Let's go.
Yep, that's cool.
Rick Dodge says stock block LS record, 2 hours of cleanup.
He damn Skippy.
Damn, if you're just joining, Mr. Dodge, thank you so much. You and Vinny are right on here. Here you go. Giddy up. Hell yes. That's right. That is right. I gotta know tech type world. What's the most egregious thing you've seen? I don't need you to tell about a car, a name, or anything like that. But like a real fast car with some real outdated shit. What comes to mind?
Oh man. Somebody showed up with an M95 helmet.
What year? What year was this?
That was this year.
This year.
This year he showed up with an M. This year he showed up with an M95 helmet.
An M is a motorcycle endorsement.
Yes, it is.
It's not a race car endorsement.
No.
And
I was
1995.
Yeah, I had to take a picture. So it wasn't orange anymore. It was so faded. So I had to take a picture of it with my phone, and then I had to blow it up to just see the faint outline of the M95 on it. And I looked at him. Yeah, M is for mint. There ain't no doubt about that. The thing was mint. It was a Jimmy Dale. No, Jimmy Dale just wears track pants with some single layers that he should be wearing. I rode him pretty hard at PRI. I was going to take him around to different manufacturers, you know, Race Quip, Simpson, you know, anybody that's making race pants, just to see if I could get him a free pair of pants. And he's like, no, I'll be all right, bro. And I'm like, no, Jimmy Dale, you're not going to be all right.
Right. You know what your pants cover? The most
not enough.
Part of the man's body. I mean, if you can't do anything with your Johnson, is it really worth racing? I mean,
no. I mean, that's why we all got into it to begin with, right? Yeah.
Good.
Gotta impress the girls, and you ain't gonna impress the girls with burnt up Flintstone, you know, pajama pants and Crocs as your race wear.
I was told a long time ago that a Hans device is way less restrictive than a wheelchair.
Absolutely.
So, that's the thing. So, what got you into? I mean, I'm sure it's small tire stuff, but what got you into the tech world?
Happenstance. Dumb.
Okay.
And I say that with just like nobody wanted to step up and police rules and take a look at things. So I started on that side of things, right? Like, you know, we had 10 rules at Immokalee for the stock suspension thing, and rule number 10 was if you don't like the first 9, you don't have to freaking race. Yeah, there's Dodge, right? To meet chicks. That's not why we got into tech.
No, there's just the only chicks that are at tech are drivers' wives, typically.
Right, and those are the ones that we appeal to when the driver's like, "Oh, I don't need this or I don't need that." We just look over at the wives, make sure he gets, you know, over to the Summit trailer, make sure that he gets this for Christmas
or life insurance.
Right. One or the other. One or the other. And get used to, to be crude, wiping his ass because, he's going to be unable to as a paraplegic or a quadriplegic or what have you.
And
that's kind of rough, but there's a lot of truth in that.
There 100% is. And I mean, if you use price for an excuse not to have safety on your car, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. You have $100,000 race car and you have a $25 helmet, you're an idiot. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'll tell you.
Right.
Here's a mic. Hold on. Oh, I muted it. You're an idiot. That's it.
You're going to have to use that as.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you'll have to use that as a clip at some point. You're going to have to edit this somewhat. And you're just going to have to, when anybody says that, you're just going to put that on a loop for them.
Yeah, exactly. You're an idiot. Rick said, get your man some gloves for Father's Day. Absolutely. I agree.
Right.
Gloves, boots, shoes. Here's the biggest thing in my mind, and Lyle Barnett will tell you, and 100 million other people will tell you, the biggest thing that is 100% not prejudice to anybody. It doesn't give a shit who you are, where you are, what how fast your car is, anything. Fire
doesn't care.
Fire sucks ass. Plug up your firewall. If you only need a -1 suit, wear a -5 suit. It's not that much more money.
Yep.
It's a hell of a lot more hot, but it will save your ass if your car catches on fire. Fire sucks. Fire would be the worst way ever to die. Fire is the worst way ever to get injured. Motherfucker, spend some money on fire suits, please. For you, for me, for John, for the people that will be pulling your bullshit helmet off of your face when it burns to your face, and your polyester pants off of your pants when they cut you out of your car. Please spend money to protect yourself from fire. Please. That's just me. And I'm done.
No, I'm 100%. I'm with you.
Yeah.
There's room for both of us on that soapbox.
What's that?
I said there's room for both of us on that soapbox.
I have seen shit on fire. That's the scariest shit I ever saw. In Iraq, that was the scariest shit. Humvees, they would turn on their side and they would catch them on fire. That was what was killing people. It wasn't the IEDs. It wasn't the thing rolling over. It was the fire that happened after. Yep. Helicopters. When helicopters crash, they catch on fire. You survive the crash. You don't survive the fire.
Right.
If you have a fucking methanol car and you don't have a 15 or 20,
you won't know you're on fire.
Right. You are an idiot. If you have an E85 car, please get a 15 or 20 suit. Please. I know that a -5 might be enough. Please get a good suit, for crying out loud. I know they're hot. I know it sucks. Go to Bonneville once. The tech and the stuff at Bonneville is off the charts. Absolutely off the charts. You want to know why? Yep. Those dudes run nitrous for 60 seconds. 60 seconds. It's no joke. So, and it, by the way, it's on a lake bed in Utah in September. It's hot. They get it. It's okay. You can do it for 8 seconds or 6 seconds or whatever it is. If you learn nothing from this, fire sucks. Protect yourself.
That's cool. I'll drink to that, and I'm gonna go
get a new one. Absolutely. Well, he is gone. I will hit this real quick. Again, I'll be at the Christmas Tree Championships. That I am leaving on Thursday for that. I will be there on Friday. It's going to be absolutely off the chain. I will be working next with John Sears at Sick Week 2025. That is going to be absolutely crazy as well. And again, don't forget that John will be at the Drag Illustrated Winter Series. He is the competition director, so he's the guy writing the rules for all the stuff. You will see him next to the U.S. Street Nationals. They're up here on the screen as well. You can get all the information for that from the Drag Illustrated website, also from Bradenton Motorsports Park website. And following that, you will see Mr. Sears at the World Series of Pro Mod, which is happening at Bradenton as well, which got its start at Vandermeer, which is that's my jam. That's my favorite.
You know what we're doing, right?
What's that?
Right after U.S. Street, Jim Bailey and Vinny are going to be sticking around to finalize that event as the rest of us make our way north to SGMP for Sick Week, baby.
Dude, Sick Week. Here we go. Starting and finishing it at SGMP.
How's that?
Attaboy. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm here by myself, so I usually want to start a fight after drinking this shit. So
well,
I'm
you
by
can't
myself.
fight yourself.
Can't fight with myself.
So let's go. Let's get it going. I got the gigantic bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, that's some single barrel right there. We'll back it up with a little bit of that too.
Attaboy. I also can't wait for Sick Week. It's going to be absolutely off the chain. Brett LaSala has told me on camera and off camera he will run a 5-second ET in the quarter mile at Sick Week. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be absolutely off the chain.
He doesn't have to come run pro mod at U.S. Street Nats.
Yes, he's got the red tag on the car. So I mean, the red Pro Mod and HRA chassis cert tag, and that was straight out of More Race Cars. And I had Matt Moore on last week. If you didn't see that, you can tune in anytime on YouTube or go find it on Facebook. Real quick plug for me: go find me on YouTube if you're watching me on Facebook at Adam Dory. Give me a follow. Where are you available on social medias, Mr. Sears?
I am John Sears on Facebook. You can find me at John at X275.net. That's my email address. And we are working on getting a YouTube channel spun up for a couple of neat things that I think people are going to want to see. It's going to be a little bit different. Some of the same stuff you see out of some other folks with some projects and some other stuff like that I've got going on around here. But at the end of the day, I think some of the things that we get a chance to do and see from our perspective as track staff, I think it'll be a great opportunity, to walk in our shoes, so to speak, in some circumstances, particularly when we're being lane Nazis to tell you to get suited and booted because we want to keep the show rolling.
Right. And
those are
that's
some of
my
favorite times.
That's a lot of stuff too. There's an amazing amount of behind the scenes that happen at a race that people don't see, hear, know about. You got to know that oh my God, Stevie shows up clutch with the McDonald's.
Oh, sweet.
Hell yeah. You got to know that when John is walking up to you and saying, hey, it's time to get in your car and get going, the race director, if it's not him, the competition director, the lady running the computers, the announcers, this has all happened already in the background of, like, the announcers haven't told you over the radio or over the PA to get suited and booted until about 3 minutes after John says get suited and booted. There's a huge ripple effect that happens at racetracks constantly. It's a pretty crazy deal. There's so much behind the scenes that happens that you people don't know about. And one day we should just do a background, like where we all have cameras following us and we're all mic'd up like the NFL.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they can kind of see what happens with again, you getting like personally attacked for failing their car at tech for having a 20-year-old helmet or a 15-year-old fire suit or a 5-year-old window net or rubber valve stems in your fucking 650 car.
Right.
Let's just be honest here. Somebody should follow us to just see what all happens at a racetrack in behind the scenes. On top of that, we're not, you and me and folks that I know are not the dudes out mopping up your transmission fluid. Those dudes, the guys standing in the burnout box all day long, you know that they go home smelling like tire smoke and methanol. That's cool for you and your buddies that do it for 3 passes.
Right.
That sucks for the guy that has to do it for 300 passes. Straight up, like, just know the people behind the scenes, the track staff people, the folks that work there day in and day out deserve so much more praise than anyone ever gives them. You and I see it.
Right.
Racers may not. Next time you're at your racetrack, do me a favor. I'm sure John will jump on this. Shake those dudes' hands. Give them a fist bump. Tell them thank you. They're looking under your car for transmission fluid at the starting line for your safety, not to keep their racetrack clean. They don't like when you lubricate the racetrack, but their plan is to keep you alive. So
absolutely,
for real, that means a lot to those guys because they work long, hard hours for relatively low money, and they do it with a smile on their face for the same reason that they like racing to happen. So, hug the tech guy.
Yep. No, fist bump the tech guy. I'm a hands off kind of person. Fist bump, knucks, pose, high five. I like a high five. Good high five. Good loud high five is money.
Just tell them thanks, and like that shit goes a long ass way. You may not think it does, but not a lot of people say, "Dude, thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for keeping an eye on my stuff. Thank you for noticing that coolant leak." Especially the track staff dudes, the regular dudes. Oh, Rick wants a hug. Give me a hug.
Of course he does.
Yes, you're a dude, so he likes hugs from dudes. I heard
he does, pants down.
Front or back, your call.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. So think about the hours, though, right? Think about the hours. They're there before you get there, and they're there when you're packed up and you're leaving.
Right.
And the track staff is generally still there. Right. Those are long days. I've been at the racetrack from 7 in the morning till well past midnight. We left Thrones this year. Granted, we started later in the day, but we didn't leave Thrones this year until like 3:30, 3:45 in the morning when it was over. But there was still track staff there. There was still RORS staff there handing out trophies and checks and all that other stuff. All those people, those are the unsung heroes of these events. The people that are there for way longer than what you think that you can be. And guess what? Most of us work a flat rate for the day, so it doesn't matter if it's 6 hours or 18 hours or 20 hours.
Make the same money, no matter what. In fact, that reminds me of FL2K. We finished the race early. We hauled fucking ass to get it done before the hurricane hit. Yeah, 2 days in a row, 20-hour days. That's not just me running out of the golf cart with a microphone in my hand. That's the guy flipping the switch on the starting line. That's the guy spraying water in the water box. That's the promoter making sure that people aren't trying to kill each other. The tech guy getting, people that are, protesting somebody that you don't know, you never been, you never met. There's so much. There's so absolute much. Think about that. Give your people a little fist bump, a little, if you're not John Sears, a hug. Whatever, man. let them know that you appreciate what they're doing. And a lot of those guys, like the dude that might be working the switch on the starting line, or the lady running the computer behind the scenes.
The computer.
Dude.
The concession stand staff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating French fries and chicken fingers and cheeseburgers without the concession stand staff and the folks that keep the porta johns clean.
Right. All right. We're getting into my questions right now. If you have questions for John,
all right,
pop them up here. We'll get them done. I'm going to start rolling on my questions though right now for you, and these are typically drag and drive type questions. So I'm going to kind of like wiggle them around to you can answer them drag and drive. You can answer them RTRA. You can answer them PDRA. However you want to answer them. The rubric's yours, so that it's all yours. Answer them how you want. But what is the largest thrash? And I guess in your world, let's talk about the biggest comeback. What's the biggest comeback you've seen as like a tech guy? What dude that showed up? I guess that he rolled in and he's like, dude, you're never racing here today. And he comes back through tech, or you run by his pit, and he's got all of his shit fixed. Talk to us about the person that did it right.
Well, so I won't name the organization, but we had somebody show up to an event. And basically I have a 3-strike rule, right? Like I'm going to go, all right, we got to work on X, Y, Z. Well, this was seatbelts out of date. The battery on off didn't work. The neutral safety didn't work. He didn't have a license. There was no diaper on the car. His helmet was out of date, and he didn't have shoes. So that's 7 items that we came up with. Well, he was able to. So quarter mile, probably a 7-second car.
Okay.
So 8th mile, sub 450.
Got it.
Came back with 5 of the 7 items taken care of.
And how much time?
Pretty good. And it didn't take him 4 hours.
Dude.
4 hours.
So you give a guy 7 things, and he comes back with 5 fixed in 4 hours? That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, like I told him, I said, I need to see movement in the right direction. And he exceeded our expectations by getting everything that he could get done. And it was one of those things where he's like, man, I've raced at XP, and they never said anything to me about this stuff. And I'm like, well, if you'd like to, race in this event and participate in this event, these are some of the things that I see. I'm stopping now before I dig further into the car, but let's see if we can't get these things taken care of. And he did a pretty damn good job of getting everything taken care of, which I was very happy to see.
To be fully honest, and if you guys don't know, there's a lot of the world, a lot of the country that doesn't tech, period. Racetracks exist. You get a run card if you pay the money. You're gonna run down the racetrack if you pay the money or not. When you show up at a race that's a legitimate race, you get teched, and you may fail tech, but the goal of the tech person is not to hem you up ever. This is a good segue into this, but they want to make sure that you go home safe. If you make a honest plan, an honest attempt, dude, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, but I can't do this and this. You didn't turn that person away. I guarantee it.
Right. And one of the things is education and information go a long way. Right. some people, you look at them, they've been racing no, they're full of crap. They know. Got 16, seasons of win stickers on their car from multiple racetracks. They know. But at the same time, it's like, who's to say, that it's not this person's first couple of times to the track, or they haven't been doing it for a long time. So I often have to take a step back, right? And I have to play to my audience. And we have a saying in tech, first time, every time. So sometimes you have to treat like some of these people like it's their first time at the racetrack. Every time they show up, give them some information. The next time you see them, hopefully they've made movement direction in order to take care of what they need to take care of as far as their compliance is concerned.
Right. Unless it's like blatantly you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, egregious.
Burned.
Right.
Odds are good if you make an attempt. The tech guy that's there is going to go, dude, great, let's go.
Right.
Have fun.
We're gonna make sure that you're compliant and that you're safe to go down the racetrack. And again, we've had people show up with their buddies' pants, right, so they could get through tech, running an 850 car. Right. And one of the things that we do as techs, both Jennifer, myself, and Rick, and whoever else we may be working with in the staging lanes at these drag and drive events, dude, just because I'm telling you to get suited and booted doesn't mean that I'm not making sure that you don't have your Hans on, that you're not wearing your gloves, that you don't have your head sock on, that you're not in Crocs versus your race shoes, things of that nature there. We're looking. It may not be readily apparent that we're looking at those things, but that's part of us, the staging lanes, like we do when we tell you to get ready, because we know that people share pants or they'll share helmets. Hey, that's not the helmet you teched in with. Well, how do you know that? Well, I got a pretty decent memory, and I remember the helmet you had was blue.
Right.
That's your buddy 3 cars back wearing the same helmet. Let me see your helmet for a second. And then their helmet is out of date. So, we try to have respect for the racer. As long as the racer has respect for us, it's usually going to be a pretty good time for all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, the plan is that we don't want you to not race. Ever. Come race. For crying out loud, let's go. But we're going to do our best to make it safe.
Yep. Due diligence, due diligence on your part is going to go a long way to making your life a whole lot easier. That's why we always put posts out before, like drag and drive events or some of these bigger events that we do. When you come to have all of your gear out, I don't want to dig through your bag to get all your. I want to dig through your car to look for it. Have it all out. You know what's going to happen? It's going to expedite things in tech. You're going to show that you're prepared and you're ready to race, and I'm going to treat you as such.
Right. Rich Guido wants to know, have you ever done a drag and drive? Or are you going to? Because I know the Turbo Buick days have not left you. You're a G-body dude.
I am a G-body guy.
When are we gonna get your ass on a drag and drive? So
there's always like those guys do the street and yeet deal, right? Devin has the whole street and yeet deal.
Devin and Laura are absolutely awesome. We have them on here a lot. We talk about them a lot. They're awesome.
And I have right. I gotta have a car ready at some point, right? So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now. I have a couple of options, and one of them is a '72 Pontiac Le Mans Post that I picked up earlier in the year. And
little A body GM action.
We're either gonna put it. Yep. We're probably going to wind up with Pontiac power in it. It's either going to have a TKX or a 200 R4 in it.
TKX, baby. EFI. Come on, let's go.
Yep. We're going to jump in with the stick shift boys, and I'll probably ruin some parts. But if I can't do that, it's a 72 post.
No. What year are you going?
to try to do it next year. Like, I'm bringing the Malibu to a time event in March. So we're actually going to race a car in a no time class.
Dude, but
so the Malibu's coming out in March to go drag racing.
You know how I roll, but I got a stick shift dudes that hang out on this. So Rich Guido says TKX. Josh says stick shift. We don't want to have to buy you a purse, John. So what is it in that car?
Well, it just depends on what's available at the time and how money looks.
Well,
that's always one of the things.
I know a guy. You might know a guy. If you need some TKX stuff, reach out. Let's make that work.
I'll do that. But I think a Pontiac with a TKX would be very cool. And we just had some custom parts made for the car, some body parts from U.S. Body Source. We don't make a Pontiac Ram Air hood for a Le Mans, right? They make it for the GTO, but they don't. Through some friends at Dave Aiken at Toy Makers in North Carolina and his folks at U.S. Body Source and Star, they do a one-piece GTO front end for like the 71, 72 stuff. So I said, hey, can you graft the Ram Air style Pontiac hood from this GTO to a Le Mans Tempest framework? Well, we now have a one-off custom Le Mans Ram Air hood that I think is going to look pretty sporty on this car. This car just went frame off restoration. It's like a 50 or 60,000 mile car. So it's super clean. Just got a bunch of the interior stuff knocked out for it. So I can't wait to get behind the wheel of that one. I had to sell 2 other cars to buy this one, but it was worth it.
And I got to tell you, my brother-in-law, Pontiac dude, he's got a TKX in his first gen Firebird.
Right.
Loves it. It's got a 428 in it. Pontiac power. Absolutely awesome. That's cool. Eat a cheeseburger. You're right.
Eat a cheeseburger.
That's right. It's a McDouble.
It's a McDouble?
McDouble. McDouble.
Yep, yeah, nothing better.
And Rich said he can help you with the clutch stuff too. Yeah, dude.
Beautiful.
If you don't put a clutch in that car, I'm gonna slap you next time I see you. We'll just play that game. My next question, and if you got more questions, throw them up here in the comments. Let's get them answered. But what's the largest thrash that you've seen?
So I would say Stevie Fast at one of the radio races. That was good. I don't know what you just did, but it sounded good.
Knocked my phone down.
Oh shit. So Stevie Fast wrecked his car up pretty good at one of the radio races. And there was a mad thrash to put that thing back together again. It was pretty intense. And there's a lot of people involved with it. Pissed off a lot of people, but I thought it was a pretty cool deal to see all these people come together and get that thing going. I don't know if the thrash was any similar to what he did down at Snowbirds after tagging the cars. No, it wasn't Snowbirds. It was it's either Lights Out or a No Mercy event at South Georgia Motorsports Park.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So shout out Stevie Fast. If you guys don't know, watch
KTR, baby.
Yeah. Bob Reinhardt from Colorado represent. I'm a big Colorado guy. From Madcap Racing Engines is now on board at KTR. Bob, shout out, dude. You guys, you're the jam. Building him some badass motors for that Shatta, the Shatta 3.0.
The Shatta, the Motion Raceworks Shatta.
That's right. Absolutely. I'm also let's just get rolling here in the rest of my questions. There's more coming. If you have in the comments, drop them in there. I'm supposed to call you the legendary John Sears.
That would be Rick Stanky.
Rick Stanky, yes, sir.
Right. Because Rick is legendary, and his wife is the Dairy Queen.
Dairy. If you guys don't know Rick Stanky, he's got the honk if farts fall off. Wow. Honk if parts fall off. Well, I've had a couple more of these Jack Daniels drinks than I thought I was going to have. That dude was like, dude, you're going to have John legendary. The honk if parts fall off Chevelle is maybe one of my favorite cars ever. It's a 4-door 66 Chevelle, I think. Absolutely off the chain. That dude is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Hey, Rick.
Hardcore, too.
Rick's calling himself out. How about that? Here's a weird one for you. We haven't really talked about a bunch of your like background car stuff, but have you sold a car that you shouldn't have like sold? What car got away?
Oh, man. Don't do that to me.
I have to.
Fuck. There's 3 of them.
Okay.
First one was my 69 Chevelle.
Yep.
Just the sentimental value of taking that thing from a regular, it was a daily driver, to something that wound up in Chevy High Performance magazine back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually traded that car for another car, which was a 71 Z28, which was the only big tire car I ever owned, which I had a 33 10.5. But it was more of a pro street deal.
Same.
Pump
I had a
6 in it, nitro
that had a
stuff.
33 14.5 QuickTime Pro, which is like a 32 12.5, which would have been a 33 10.5.
Yep. Good size tire back there. A lot of fun racing that car. And then my 87 Buick Turbo T.
Okay.
And I might as well add the damn small block S10 that I sold to my buddy Ben Dinkel, whose son is driving it now. And if anybody else would have tried to buy that, there's a couple of people I may have sold it to, but Ben and his son are sort of carrying on with that truck. My son drove that truck to high school. My son,
cool.
Yeah, my son cut his teeth. As he moved up from, we would go out to Run Day Sunday at Immokalee, and he was able to race his 4-wheeler out there. And then we just eventually threw him in the truck, and then we threw him in one of the Chevelles, and, he got a lot of seat time doing that stuff. And, that's one of the things that we don't get a chance to see today, is guys taking 14, 15-second cars and building them into, 10 and 9-second cars, and then going whole hog into an 8 and 7-second car. People are just building 7-second cars, right from the rip now. And sometimes, you can send me the hate mail if you want to, but some of you guys are in over your fucking heads with these cars because you didn't progress like a lot of people did, and get the seat time you needed, and or go to a driving school. And it shows that you don't live by the credo, race to live another day, or live to race another day, I should say. Some of you guys, want to try to achieve hero status on YouTube with your wreck. Exactly. Oh man, that was so cool. I wrecked my car, and now I'm on YouTube and I got 1 million views. Yeah, look at the comments. Everybody said you were driving over your ability. So,
right. You outdrive your freaking damn it.
Your skills and abilities.
Skills, right. Outdrive your skills. I'm looking for the word. Brain injury problems.
I get it.
It's a CTE. It's no big deal.
Yep. I get it.
And apparently the Buick
Yeah, Jimmy's like, tell him it's the Buick. Be honest. Of course it's the Buick. Love the Buick. I ran Bowling Green in the Buick.
Turbo.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. The first car I was ever involved with street racing with ever, I had my Monza, small block, V8 Monza swap action. Ran in the 13-second range in 2000. So it's not like quite your 10-second car in 2000. I did spray it to a 10, or I'm sorry, an 1180. And that was when the 6-point cage was 1199 and not 1140.
Right. Hey, we'll just preface it with this, though. You were on the mountain, man. It's the altitude that got you. It would have been so much faster at sea level.
100%. But, dude, I mean, you go street racing with that car back in the day, dude, that stuff catches you off guard. And, it was a wild time. Wild, absolute, crazy, insane time. The early 2000s with the jam.
That's good stuff.
Absolutely.
It was.
This is going to be a good one because you've been all over the place. What's your favorite racetrack?
All right, 8th Mile, Shady Side.
Dude,
love Shady Side in North Carolina. If you've never been there, go there. North Carolina, dude, that's like 5 territory. OG is hell. It's got one of the most unique layouts. If you've never been there, go.
I've never been.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you got an invite, and there's going to be a ticket at the gate waiting for you March 7th and 8th.
Okay.
We're going to debut our new event name. We're going to call it Carolina Gold because we are setting the new standards for small tire racing in the Carolinas. We're going to have our limited class there and a bunch of other stuff there that's going to be coming up. I don't want to kind of give too much away, but Shady Side Dragway, March 7th and 8th, we are having Carolina Gold with Seth and Zach Buff and Corey Stamper of Spooled Media. So that's going to be one of the most awesome times that you've ever been to a racetrack. Get the fried bologna. That's all I got to tell you at the session stand. Good times for that place. It's just the history. I know. I'm just, I'm throwing out the lines and seeing who I'm reeling in, and I got you first, so that's good stuff. And they actually even put the fried bologna on a burger. So a good friend of mine, Tori Brown, went there one time from Boston, moved there. That's how much of a good time he had there. So that'll tell you. And quarter-mile track, I don't want to upset anybody because there's a ton of great racetracks that I get a chance to do. But my second home is Bradenton. I raced Bradenton Motorsports Park. I won a turbo EFI modified class there way back when. Got the Dusty Trophy sitting in a corner over here somewhere. Did that in a turbo Buick, of course.
What year was
but
that?
Just shit, like 97. Just shows you how old I am. That's all that does.
Was Alan the owner then?
Yes, he was, Mr. Sherbets. Yep.
Totally.
Yep.
Totally.
It was.
How about the new tech facility at Bradenton?
The Taj Mahal, the Garage Mahal, the tech center.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm just for the Christmas tree drags. I'll be down and I'll get to see it. But I was there at Mod Nationals, which was Veterans Day weekend.
Right.
It was not there yet.
No.
Dude, what about it?
That was done in a short amount of time, and holy cow! Like that place provided us an opportunity to continue teching cars while other cars were racing, and we could run them across the scales, and we could still get our tech job done. It's that big.
Dude,
the scales being out of the elements make them consistent. Just hats off to Vic and his staff down there. The guy Josh for making that stuff happen, because absolutely blessed. Like you go to Bowling Green, you've been to Bowling Green, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, so they got a really nice scale area down there and ticket shack and all that other stuff. And you always look at that and you're like, man, this is really nice down here. And then Vic goes and does what he did at Bradenton. And him and Cleet and all those guys down there just kind of reset the standard for other tracks now, as far as I'm
Dude, it's
concerned.
absolutely insane. Like I said, I was there for Mod Nationals, and the awning had been blown away from the building. It used to have an awning. It was nice-ish. The new thing is insane. It's all in a building. It's like you said, the scales are under an actual building. The tech people typically have to stand in the sun. They can all stand in the building. That keeps them sharp and good. That keeps you safer. It's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much to Racetracks for pumping money into the facility. I know that's tough, especially if you hire your tech people. They're not your people. You don't care. They can sit out in the sun, and you'll still go to racetracks that have their stuff in the sun. But dude, Bradenton, thank you. That stuff matters.
Absolutely,
keep us alive longer. It's a big deal.
I was gonna see if I could send you a couple of pictures of it.
Yeah, Jennifer.
See if I can get them to you. Did you
fire it over to my Facebook if you can? It's absolutely off the chain. Absolutely off the chain. The first under wraps tech building I ever saw was at Topeka, and it was awesome. I actually went to an ET Finals race at Topeka with that, and it was so nice because we had weather during tech day. We didn't have to. We could be under the shade.
Right. It's amazing. I just sent you a couple.
Yep, definitely. I will get those. Hold on one second. Let me get those added in. Here's one. I'll upload this one real quick while I get the other one going. All files. Hold on one second. Bear with me. Here we go. It's uploading. So here's photo one. This stuff, if you guys don't know, this is absolutely insane. And this was kind of no one prepared for this, right? Like, you didn't know you were following on this.
Well, I kind of did. I was down there and had stopped into the track and had talked with Josh and talked with the guys about the layout and some other things. Having it done in the amount of time that it was, I was blown away.
It's insane. It's absolutely, like you said, getting the scale out of the elements. This is nothing like. This is exactly like the sensors on your car. If you have shock sensors on your car and you drive that down the street, problems can happen. I mean, it is what it is. If you put it out of the elements, the scales are more consistent. They're better. They're more accurate. This is a huge deal. This is an absolutely huge deal. Tracks, take note. Please put your tech under some sort of awning, something that's substantial. My God, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, it does. The other thing was we were still scaling cars and running cars across the scales. And in the other bay, we were able to bring a car in that set a class record. We closed both doors down. We were able to do a P&G, turbo check, fuel check, and multiple other checks on the vehicle to make sure that when it did set the record that it was compliant with the rules. And closing the doors sort of allowed us to just work without a bunch of onlookers and without a bunch of folks just kind of gawking and things of that nature. They're thinking that the racer did something wrong, because the racer did nothing wrong. The team did nothing wrong. We were just validating their compliance. That's all we were doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. And if you think you're helping in that situation, you're not.
You're probably
It's like
not.
people do their thing. It's pretty amazing watching. Drag racing rules are pretty lax compared to Bonneville. I've never been to Bonneville before this year. I had the chance to go with Alex Taylor and Keith Turk and those guys, and she went out and set a record. Bonneville's absolutely insane. They seal your fuel tank. They seal your fuel. They store your fuel for you. It's if you think your tech at drag racing is too intense, please go to Bonneville and watch their tech. It's been that way since like the 50s. They have rules and records that have stood the test of time since the 20s. It is absolutely insane, the difference. So again, if you think your tech rules are tough, please go to Bonneville once and then come back and shake this guy's hand.
Right. Or go to NASCAR.
Right.
We're not using templates in most of the things that we do. NHRA, puts their funny cars into to boxes and template outlines, and their pro stock cars template outlines and things of that nature there into the chamber. That's something that we don't do. So when you want to complain or bitch that, oh man, why are you checking that, or why are you checking this? It could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse.
Right. Absolutely. I'm running down to the last bit of my questions. If you have a question, throw it up here in the comments. We'll get that answered for you. But the one I give you a heads up on, what is your favorite race car? Which car would you rather drive and own if they're not the same car?
All right. So there's a white Chevelle that I saw at the Plates and 28s event, and it was beyond a shadow of doubt just perfect. Twin turbo LS under there, and I know the LS haters and whatnot. Something with a license plate and something that's driven. That car just kind of set it off for me. And it kind of makes me rethink some directions on other cars. Right. And it's a 68 Chevelle. So 68, 69, those are my jam.
I can't tell that. Oh, you can see the tail lights just barely.
Yeah. Well, look at the side marker light.
Okay. Yep.
Up front, that's a little bit different, a little bit lower on the 68 and a little bit wider. And then the grill's a little bit different. But again, that's my jam. And then, tie in really set it off. So twin turbo, 68, 69 Chevelle would probably be the hot ticket for me as far as, what I'd love to own. Now, as far as driving goes,
I was going to say, if that's not a just driving, like just one car you'd like to drive,
it would have to be the yellow Cars 69 Camaro.
Rick Dyer's car, dude.
Absolutely, that would be the one. And I don't care if it's got the Lenco in and the trans brake, just to drive a piece of history like that and make a pass in it. I don't need to do anything else after that. I'll go home and you'll never see me again. Right.
And thanks to the Allenson family
for
keeping that car alive, bringing it out to the Havlicks Fastest Street Car Reunion. They raced that car. They brought that car on Drag Week as well. Prior to that, the Havlicks the race. Absolutely insane. And Dyer's funeral's tomorrow. So dude, good choice, both in history and timeliness. Rick Dyer, straight out of the Havlicks Fastest Street Car Reunion, the Atkinson family out of Nebraska. And I know they get help from the Wishman family and whatnot, getting that car back on the racetrack. Those cars were the jam, dude, back in the day. Those cars, the cars, those cars they set the precedent for what is a quick and fast street car today.
Absolutely. Think about what we used to wait for, like, magazines to come out right before the internet, and we're such a, I need that information now, type, environment. Like, I was talking with somebody the other day. Actually, it was today during our 6 series call, 6 series that we're doing with Tom Bailey, and he's trying to bring some of the stuff that the group had, and some new things, and we're trying all that. I'll just call it Dragon Drive.
Oh no! Did we lose him? He's locked up. Hold on. Let's get him back. Buffering.
Hold on.
Are you caught up?
There we go. There we go. Buffering. Yeah, put some more quarters in.
Good,
so we were messing around today. We were messing around today on the call, and we were talking about Texas 2K and FL 2K and the streetcar class that they have, and those guys run low 7 and 6 second passes and stuff like that. And how fun would it be to bring in some of the drag and drive bad boys and have a drag and drive versus elite streetcar kind of shootout with the quickest folks coming out of the FL2K, Texas 2K rule set, facing off against true drag and drive warriors that are just bad fast. And I was sitting there with the guys on the call, Derek Putnam, Tom Bailey, Mike Washington, and Joanne, and I was like, drag and drive versus the world. I like it. Kind of sounds good. And they're like, yeah, that kind of sticks, doesn't it? I'm going to need my 30%, but yeah, go ahead and
no big deal.
Go ahead and chalk that up. Yeah, I need my kickbacks. Eddie's got a Pontiac to build, so we got to be able to finish it. So that's one of the things that we were kicking around. People understand this. This 6 series, it's not about doing the same old thing that everybody's done the same way they've been doing it. We want to kind of shake things up and sort of set a new standard and give some new wrinkles to things. And you may qualify on the quarter mile, doesn't mean you're going to be going into eliminations racing quarter mile. You may go into eliminations racing 8th mile. I don't know. And I'm just throwing that out there as just something. But again, it's one of those things where there's no script and there's no template that we're trying to read from. We're looking at some things that are successful out there, but certainly not going to adhere to the same old, because you've been to enough sick events and they're not the same old drag and drive. It's about being a BMF out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, and they're setting records, and they're unapologetically the quickest, the baddest, the fastest. That's their move. That's how they roll.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm
really looking forward to it. Go ahead, shoot.
It's going to be good. If you got one more, throw it up there in the comments. Let's get it answered, dude. Real quick, John Sears, thank you for coming out on That's Cool Drink and partying with me a little bit for a couple hours. Because
I appreciate it, buddy.
We're rolling, man. Let's make it happen. So my last question, and if you got one more, throw it up in there. What advice do you have for a newbie? And your rubric. I'm talking about a newbie getting into drag racing, newbie getting into tech, a newbie getting into want to start your own bull crap. A newbie, whatever, that wants to come to work for RTRA with someday. What advice do you have for a newbie?
Come with an open mind. Come with the desire to learn. Come with expectation that the hours are going to be long, the pay is going to be low, and the thank yous are going to be few and far between.
Right.
But don't do it for that. Do it for you. Do it for the passion of the sport. Do it to keep drag racing alive. Do it so when my old ass stops doing this, that I still have a place to race.
Hell yes, dude. And that leads me perfectly. Oh, and Rick Dodge says a good pair of shoes on clouds for me. That's my jam.
Oh, I'm an Under Armour guy, man. I do well with those things. But I do bring several pairs and I swap them out during the week, so I'm not wearing the same pair and beating them into the ground.
Hell yes. That leads me to my last question. You want to race? When are we going to see you out? When are you going to be behind the wheel of something? And what the hell is it going to be? So,
March 14th, Carolina No Time at Darlington Dragway, Lance and Travis. So Lance Stanford and Travis Hart, wonderful friends of mine, guys that I've worked with and for on multiple occasions, are having a No Time small block shootout. And I am going to bring the SB2 Boo out to that thing. I don't know if you have a picture of it.
I don't.
But I'm going to be bringing that thing out. I will send it to you real quick.
Yeah, do.
That way you have it.
You looking like this and this.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's you.
Those are terrible.
There you are.
Those are terrible.
It is what it is.
Ooh, something going on here. It's all good, right?
No, it's all good, my friend. I also want to thank you. The Always Forward post on Facebook. Dude, my basic training in the Army, my unit, like credo, was always forward, and it's a big deal to just. Sometimes shit is shitty, and to be able to trudge through the crap to keep on just moving forward is a really, really, really big deal.
It is.
So, dude, thank you for occasionally reminding people and whoever along the process that, like, dude, when stuff sucks, if you just put one foot in front of the other, you're gonna get through the other end and you'll rock. Here we go.
There she is,
dude. Malibu G Body. Did we just become best friends?
G Body or nobody.
That's right. That's right. I got a stick shift one, so it's not fast.
All good. All good.
Hell yeah. Dude, thank you. How about 2 hours? Just like that.
Just like that. I want to say something about that keep moving forward thing. Not all of us have a close knit group of friends that we can rely on and talk to, right? Like, not everybody. And oftentimes you might be having a bad day, and there's been multiple times that I've posted up something in that whole keep moving forward mantra where people have messaged me, through Facebook, and they're like, man, this hit home for me, picked me up today, and I appreciate what you're putting out. And there's a well-known pro mod racer, I'm not going to mention his name, love the guy to death, that always when I see him at the racetrack, I get a hug from him and I get a thank you for the keep moving forward stuff. So don't ever feel like you're alone. There's always somebody out there, and if you need to talk to, just hook up with somebody. And everybody's always having a good day and not always, have somebody to talk to and stuff like that. So be there for your friends, be there for your family. It's getting around Christmas time. This is a really hard time for a lot of people. So be there for them. And yeah, I may even hug somebody. So I'm not the total Grinch that some people think I am, because RTF, right? Resting tech face.
That's a big push for Dude 988, National Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can text, you can call. I'm going to start making that a thing for 2025. push that forward, man. Like mental health is health. It's a big ass deal. Veterans, people, racers alike, um, utilize the resources you have available. Please do.
Absolutely.
Well, John, I'm gonna throw you behind the scenes here. I'm gonna do a little quick exit, but thank you so much for being on, dude. This has been an absolute blast.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful, and I appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'll throw you behind the scenes real quick, and I will say goodnight to you before we leave.
All right.
Awesome, man. Thank you again. Dude, John Sears, That's Cool Drink. This has been an absolute blast hanging out with this dude. Ed Hohenberg on again. I talked to him at PRI. Talked to a bunch of folks at PRI. We were going to have a bunch of new stuff coming on That's Cool Drink. But, dude, that said, a couple hours tonight just went like that. Thanks again to John Sears for coming on. It was an absolute honor to have that dude on my show. And so many cool people chiming in and doing the thing. And it's been an absolute pleasure to bring this to you here in 2024. I am going to have the Rops family on. Alex and Holly Rops are going to be on next week. A special Christmas Eve edition of That's Cool Drink. It's going to be so cool. But that said, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in Tuesday night. That's Cool Drink. You guys, next week, off the chain. Thanks again to John Sears. We are going to make it happen. So much cool stuff coming up very soon. And again, don't forget, Freedom Plus is the only place to get the Christmas Tree Championship drag race. You will see me and Doug running around doing the thing on that. And then I will be on Seek Week next. You will see Mr. John Sears at the U.S. Street Nationals coming very, very soon. But like I said, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Merry Christmas, Mr. Rick Dodge. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. That's Cool Drink. Tuesday, the 17th. We'll be back on Christmas Eve. But tonight, we are done. See you guys soon.